tonight to have Madison. Sorry, we are lucky enough to have Madison Olin join us tonight to share some tips and tricks about how we can optimize LinkedIn for not only for networking, but standing out. So with that, I will turn it over to Madison.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in this evening and attending our webinar on personal branding and networking on LinkedIn. So my name is Madison. I am a recruiting manager for Riddle & Bloom. As Chuck just mentioned, we are a Wasserman company, and we hire students to represent very notable brands on their campus. We kind of go semester by semester. Definitely check us out and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn as we go into this. We're just going to go over a few things on how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. So before we get into it, this is the back end of LinkedIn and or as a LinkedIn recruiter. So as a company that does a lot of outreach on LinkedIn, I just wanted to showcase some of the parameters that we search for before going in depth of how you can optimize these sections and win on LinkedIn. But one of the big ones that we use is, of course, schools and the years of graduation, some different skills, depending on which role we're trying to fill. And then up next, we're going to go into customizing, just a few ways to personalize or maybe clean up your page. The first one is your LinkedIn URL. So by default, you have LinkedIn, then you have your name followed by some random numbers and letters. So you can go in and edit URL. Your URL. I recommend just cleaning it up with your name, and then it looks just a little more tidy on your resume. It's just cleaner to share, and it just makes it look a little more put together. And this is Brandy Merriweather. You'll see me reference her a lot throughout this presentation. And then your profile photo, because first impressions count. And a quick statistic is that having a picture makes your profile 14 times more likely to be viewed by others. And from a recruiter, this is very accurate. It shows that you're taking interest in bettering your profile. And it's nice to have a face to all the experience that you're reading about. And then a few tips on your headshot. Of course, you don't want to use a selfie. And a best practice is just avoiding filters. However, LinkedIn does offer an open to work filter that I would encourage you to use if you are looking. And then I also have Brandy, as previously mentioned. She works in graphic design, and she created her own filter. So this is a place where you can showcase some of your skills, but in general, we just want a straight on headshot where your face occupies 60% of the picture, and you just want it to be clean. You want to be well dressed as if you're going to work. Nothing, you don't want maybe any old college pictures from who knows where. So just want to keep it professional and keep it clean. And then for your cover photo and headline, again, I have Brandy on here. She's one of my favorites to reference, but her headline showcases a lot of her experience, just like the work she's done in PR. And this is the space where you can showcase a little more of your personality or your interests. I've seen some that maybe have their alma mater, they have maybe they would create their own banner if they work in graphic design. This is a great opportunity for you to showcase a little more of who you are. So you can have more fun with this. And then on your intro and about section, your intro is a great opportunity to alert recruiters that you're seeking employment, actively searching for a role or pursuing new opportunities, whether maybe you want your specific title or your locations, maybe you're looking for an internship. This is a great space to utilize. I mean, this is what we see right off the bat. So whatever you want people to see first thing is what you want in your intro. And then for your about, again, this is where you can showcase a little more of your personality, tie in some of your experience. It's a summary, so keep it pretty short. And I also encourage people to link their personal resume here. And of course, just a little reminder, be mindful of putting your home address on your LinkedIn. So if you have a resume that has that, maybe making a separate document just that doesn't have any of your personal information aside from your email, because of course you want people to be able to contact you. And then a summary of 40 words or more makes you more likely to turn up in a future employer search. Again, it just shows that you're taking the time to add your profile. It shows you're active. Put as much context on there as you can. And for your about template, it's kind of the same. You just want who you are, your experience, and whatever future trajectory you want people to see. 3 paragraphs is ideal, but it's very individual or very specific to each individual. And then for experience and extracurriculars, just how you can showcase or how you can fit into a company's culture and needs. More now than ever, people want to make sure that they're a good fit in their company and their culture. Culture is very important. And 56% of hiring managers report candidates do not describe their job roles with enough depth and detail on LinkedIn. So a few tips on that are using bullets, listing all of your jobs and internships, focusing on what you learned versus the specific tasks. You don't just want to copy the job description, you want to go in depth. And then my favorite tip is being mindful of the overused buzzwords that are listed here. And I also like to see quantifiable data and references so that you can really showcase the work you put in a measurable way. On to education, which of course, as mentioned previously, this is what's most important for my research as a recruiter who hires from universities. So let people know where and what you studied. And members with a school tagged in their profile get 10 times more views on average. And if you add your school, you want to add your school, your degree, your majors, if you feel confident in your GPA, add that. And then list activities and societies you belong to or participated in, which obviously everyone in this call did. So definitely add that to your LinkedIn. And school is just very important because I went to a smaller university and it's a great opportunity to just engage with other people, with other alumni from your school, which opens up a lot of opportunities for you. And then certifications are very important to add to your LinkedIn. I have a few free ones linked here, like HubSpot offers a lot of different certifications. Google Analytics changed my life. I think everyone should be certified in Google Analytics, but they offer a lot of other free certifications as well. And then Linda offers various certifications, which is actually through LinkedIn. So it's definitely important to explore other options and showcase how much you do know. And 1 out of 5 hiring managers say they've hired someone because of their volunteer experience. So don't forget to add that as well. And 42% of hiring managers surveyed by LinkedIn said they view volunteer experience as equivalent to formal work experience. So it make sure like you are not forgetting to add that. And then for the skills and accomplishments, don't be shy, show where you shine. LinkedIn members with at least 1 skill tag get 13 times more profile views, because if in the first slide I showed where you can actually filter by the skills, I would encourage you to use more specific skills to whatever you're pursuing. So maybe not adding Microsoft Word and focusing more on something more specific. Maybe it's SEO, wherever you are, things that will help you stand out, and versus things that are kind of standard, unless you're good at Excel, because we know how Excel is. And then including a minimum of 5 skills. And just because you can select it doesn't mean you should. Again, with maybe Microsoft Word or some of these more simple platforms, because by adding skills, you provide a platform for others to endorse you and increase your credibility. I also think it's important to endorse people in your life. Maybe you have mentors, previous professors. It's just a great way to help someone out, and maybe they'll endorse you back. It just adds a lot of credibility. And if you take those certifications through LinkedIn, you also have the opportunity to display a verified skills badge, which will also help you stick out. And so these are all the ones that we just went through. If you want to add like publications, courses, projects, honors and awards, languages, organizations, these will all greatly increase your chance of being discovered. And that's obviously the end goal. So don't think that anything isn't worth posting on your LinkedIn, because different jobs, like we currently struggle to find a French speaking account manager. And this is a great opportunity to showcase your skills. And 1 out of 3 hiring managers are interested in seeing hobbies and extracurricular activities, because again, this is a time where it's very important to fit into your company culture, and company culture is everything. So it's important that you can attend these things and get to know your personality before they reach out. And recommendations and adding credibility to your claims. Recommendations are personal testimonials that provide extra credibility to your strengths and skills. So I'm sure you've heard of someone writing a letter of recommendation, which are of course great, but this is something that is just kind of a general, just a general sentiment to your work. And you could ask your managers, professors, or classmates, or someone you've worked closely with. And as mentioned, I always like to give recommendations as well. As you can see here, it shows how many you've given and received. And it never hurts to help someone else out. We're all in this together. So maybe if you have anyone who's written you one beforehand or before in your life, maybe having them endorse you again on LinkedIn. And then optimizing your network, because that's what LinkedIn is all about. So groups and influencers. Your profile is 5 times more likely to be viewed if you join and are active in groups. So with groups, it's one of the fastest ways to expand your network, and it's a great way to get exclusive job postings. And they're going to be relevant content in your LinkedIn feed, because of course you want to join different groups that are relevant to the industry you want to be in. This is a great opportunity. I recommend like sharing posts, engaging in posts, commenting, connecting with other people who are in the groups. And if you feel confident enough posting in these groups, because with the network and connections, they matter. So again, connecting with people you know and don't know. I think that LinkedIn is a great place to set up informational interviews. People love when you reach out. I think that sending someone a connection request, asking for like a quick coffee chat, or just getting to know maybe more of their story is a really great stepping stone. And if you do run into someone and have a coffee chat, like using LinkedIn as like a follow-up and personalizing your connection requests, like of course increases your chance to get approved. And when reaching out to people, if they respond, of course, like everything else, you want to respond in a timely manner. You don't want to leave these messages for weeks. That just doesn't look very good. And then creating content. Of the 10,000 most shared articles in the last 5 years, only 6% were written by influencers. And it's just because LinkedIn's publishing platform, there are 500 million LinkedIn users and only 0.2% have published an article. So again, utilizing those groups that you're in and engaging with other people's content, like will help show your page. And if you do have a post that's engaging, you have increased exposure to your page, because you're not just seen by your like your followers or your friends, like Facebook or Instagram. This is for all of LinkedIn and the communities you're involved in. And if you have like a paper that you wrote or maybe like other research, you can repurpose that content and share, but make sure to use engaging hashtags. And then keeping an eye on the comments and being ready to respond, because again, we're networking, but we're also engaging and maintaining those relationships. And that is all. Sorry, I went through that pretty quickly, but I would open this up to questions now for anyone who has any, and definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. I can go back to that if we need, if you guys want to see my name. So many. There we go. Do we have any questions? We have one in the chat. Oh, about the ID crisis. Do we have any other questions?
You're welcome to put questions in the chat, or if you want to turn your audio on, that's fine as well. We've got a small group with us at this point.
Oh, and I can stop sharing and we can, if anyone wants to put their camera on as well, I can have it more conversational.
Covered a lot of info in that time. My goodness. You might have answered everybody's questions already. Let's see. We'll give it just a moment in case somebody's trying to type away.
I'm just, oh, okay, sorry, Mrs. Perry.
Here we go.
What kind of posts do you recommend sharing? I am seeing a lot of polls that are very successful right now. So I mean, if I really like to use LinkedIn as like kind of a research platform, but with authors, I guess I would almost just recommend like posting if they have like a larger piece, just sharing like an actual document or a file, and then just like a little snippet above it with a few hashtags. If I'm understanding your question correctly. How often do you think we should be posting content? I guess that depends on what you're trying to accomplish. If you're just trying to build your network, I think whenever you're able to engage with content, I mean, that's a tough question. I think if you're just trying to engage with your audience, just whenever something seems relevant, I don't know that there's any rhyme or reason, but if you're trying to like actively grow your network, maybe I would say once a week would probably be a pretty good amount of time, just considering how LinkedIn works. Sometimes they blow up really quickly, sometimes not. It all just depends on what the type of content is. And and then from Ellie, they feel like they need to treat it like Facebook, which I advise against. Yeah. Oh, that's another note. Don't get political on LinkedIn. Just keeping it professional always is good. Just don't want anything controversial. It's all just a professional platform. So I try to keep it, I try not to post anything that people may seem like controversial, just to ensure that I'm not starting any disruptive conversations. Do we have any other questions? I also see that it's only 8:19. Sorry, everyone. I went through that very quickly.
That's all right. Again, it was great information. I know it. I learned some new things as well, which is always fun.
Oh, good. And just out of curiosity, are any of you guys in any LinkedIn groups? You can just put it in the chat if you're not comfortable speaking, but I'm always curious to hear if anyone is, and if so, what the groups are, and maybe even how you found it.
So we do have a Delta Sigma Pi group that
great. Okay.
most people are a part of, but I'm confident there are many others that folks can share.
I was a marketing major, and I was a part of a lot of marketing groups, and I found them to be very valuable. So I always hope people are also leveraging that, because there's a lot to learn from people in your industries.
Definitely. Well, we kind of have a quiet group tonight, but again, Madison, I think you hit so much information. Here's one. I'm not actively looking for a job, so it is harder for me to stay active there, but I try to stay up on what is going on. So
yeah, and that's a quick one I want to add to. When I had mentioned like having your resume in your about section, that's why I was encouraged, just like a means of communication, because maybe you're not checking your LinkedIn enough, but just making sure that people may have some way to reach you, even if you're not actively looking for a job, maybe just, and again, another opportunity to connect. But yeah, LinkedIn does have a lot. I mean, when I was in college, it was a goal of mine to build my network. So I tried to explore all options on LinkedIn, and it was just a great way for me to meet people and kind of explore what opportunities there were, even when I wasn't looking. So I'm happy that you try to stay in every now and then just to see what's going on. Oh, that's great. Thanks, Ali. Anyone else have any
Right,
questions?
well, last call for questions. Chuck, I know you had popped on earlier. Did you have anything you wanted to ask or add, or are you good as well?
No, I just wanted to make sure if somebody put it in the chat with monitoring that for questions. So
Perfect. Yeah. Well, excellent. Well, Madison, we certainly appreciate the relationship with Riddle and Bloom and you coming to do this webinar with us this evening. I'm sure we'll do more of these in the future. We will post this to Delta Sig University so anyone can go back and get a refresher on things that they may have missed tonight, whether they were here or not. But again, thank you, Chuck. Any closing comments?
I just want to say thank you to Madison. It was a great presentation. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me, and thanks for the questions in the chat, you guys. And again, thanks for giving me your evening. I appreciate you all who attended, and good luck out there.